What's going on, boys? No, guys, and welcome back to another video. A very interesting, an interesting topic. I saw this on Reddit. Someone just sent it to me, and it was an interesting thing. Do you think EA can ever nerf fullbacks at centre back? I'm not gonna say I influenced the community, but let's just say I did have a forefront on it. But I don't think they can ever nerf this. And just to give you a record, even when I was a kid, I remember playing like PES, and people don't understand that pace equals recovery. I don't understand what's so difficult to understand. The faster player is, the more quicker they can run and the more quicker they can recover. Especially if you're like me and you play very aggressive with your centre backs, or even if you're not the best of players, but if you make a mistake, you can recover with your fullback or centre back. Let's say, for example, player switching, you're too late, someone plays a through ball in behind. If you have a fullback, you can recover faster and get the ball fast. That's why even in like FIFA 10, FIFA 11, I remember using like Micah Richards in centre back. Absolute class player. But it brings the interesting thing to light, will EA put an end to this? And I'll be honest, I don't see them ever putting an end to this because I don't think there's even an issue with it. In terms of fullbacks, they do have their weak points. They are quite weak. FIFA 19, I think the issue is that the players were too tall. Some fullbacks like in Babu could play in centre back, or the Ramos. You saw pro players using Ramos and then moving him to centre back, or playing him even right back, left back when that meta, like beach ball meta, was along. But it wasn't really enough for EA to nerf the game. It's kind of like playing Neymar and striker. We look at, for example, even like someone like Neymar, right? Neymar and striker. It's the exact same thing. All you're doing is moving Neymar from what should have been a left wing position, and then you're moving him into a central. In fact, don't forget, look when I watch my videos. A lot of these guys, they don't really play the game as often as most of you guys are watching this video. Well, let's say 50%. 50% of you would play Neymar and striker. 50% would just play them in left wing. A lot of people don't even know you can move players' positions in game, especially in Ultimate Team. But Neymar is still the best striker in the game. Even at this stage, over many Team of the Season cards, Team of the Year cards, I prefer Neymar. Because the 5-star weak foot, the composure, the very high finishing, and just his player individually, he's one of the top tier players in the game. So it's kind of the same thing there. If you're going to nerf the fullbacks and centre back, then you kind of have to nerf everything else. So I think you're kind of stuck with that. So I don't think EA are going to realistically nerf that. But yeah, I agree. They don't have the best defense positioning. I think strength is something that's important, but strength is not important as everyone else made out to be. I've been using fullbacks for about a good 10 years. And strength has never been important because if you have a fullback, as long as you get to the ball first, strength becomes negligible, because if you're getting to the ball first, your body's going to protect the ball anyway. And most people don't understand this, but you can't make a tackle from behind. If someone is directly behind you, you can maybe make a tackle like 45 or 90 degrees, but you cannot make a tackle if someone is directly behind you. So if you get to the ball first, there is no way strength will take. And that's why if you ever see me use fullbacks, I never even look at the strength stat. Is it important if I get it? If I get it, yes. Sometimes you might see, for example, in 1v1 situations, strength is a bit more important. But even if so I play very attacking football with a very high line. But people who play a very deep line, they prefer strength because they argue, okay, my back line is on drop back. If I get the ball back, I haven't got that much space to recover, so I do prefer the strength instead. So that's what people do prefer. That's why you might see, for example, certain centre backs. So I'll give you an example, right? So the Ramos centre back SBC. Was a good example. So you put a shadow on him. It was a decent card. I didn't like the balance. I would have done him, but the balance put me off him. If you know me, I've always said agility balance is probably the second most important stat over sprint speed for centre backs. Just because of if someone using, especially this year, agile dribbling is so effective. If you haven't got a centre back that can keep up, you can get turned very quickly. That's why you might. I'll give an example. So I had the Marquinhos, the SBC Marquinhos, and to be honest, I was never going to do him. I listened to advice from someone that I trust, and he ill-advised me, I would say, but I give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. But because his balance was so low and his height was so low, his pace was decent. At that stage of the game, 91 pace wasn't that bad. But as shocking as it sounds, someone like Semedo was just so effective at centre-back. It's hard, and people keep saying to me, you're crazy, but once you use Semedo at centre-back, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He's just so effective. He's 5'10". He's got high medium, should I say, work rates. But with the anchor, he's still one of the best centre backs in the game. He hasn't had the best agility in balance, but because he was lean and just his player model, like you have a very few players with specific player models where they're just so effective. And that's why the strength is not important. The aggression was somewhat important for Semedo. So, in general speaking, will EA ever patch it? I don't think they will. But I think balancing pace is not the answer, because you see, most wingers have more pace than most centre backs. And if you think about it, if someone doesn't, let's say that's your back line, if someone does an L1 trigger, that striker's already going to be making a run going forward. So at that point, you're already at a disadvantage. Let's say your centre back's here. At that point, you're already at a disadvantage. By the time you switch to the centre back and then you run back, you're already at a disadvantage. So having a better paced fullback or centre back can help you recover. The second thing is angles. People defend, they don't really run at the most precise angles. So I'll give an example. So I always hear this thing, you know, my centre back has like, you know, X amount of pace or Y amount of pace, and somehow my opponent can keep up to me. So I want to show you a video clip over here that I did find. Because people always bring this up and say, oh, yo, no, I got a picture or I got a clip of, you know, for example, someone, you know, using a centre back who's got like 50 sprint speed, but somehow he's beating my striker who's got 30 sprint speed. And to be honest, it's never the case. The case is always angles. It's kind of like geometry. So I want to try to show you an example over here. I'm going to see if I can get one. I'm going to show you a counter-attack type example, because I think that would be a very, very good example to show you. Okay, so here we are over here. Okay, this is a slide tackle one. This is a slide tackle. Do you know what? This might be a really, really good one. This one over here, because it's going to show you an example. So I'm quickly going to change screens over here so you can have a better view. Okay, so you see, for example, over here, when I lose the ball, you see that's Fred. People don't understand this, but the difference between Fred over here, if this wasn't Fred, let's say this was a better top tier player over here, then that player could run back and recover much faster than any other fullback. Now, the players, a lot of players make this big mistake. They try to get this ball. So let's say it was on between Goretzka and the attacker. There is a chance of you getting the ball. Problem is, most of the time, you will not get the ball. As simple as it sounds, you just won't get it. Because once a pass has been made, it's almost next to impossible for a player to recover. Especially this FIFA, and this is why I said when the game came out, the game is just in a shocking state, because if someone tries to make a pass, you can't intercept it. So you can see, for example, like there, I got done, and if it wasn't for pace, I would have struggled. But you can see, for example, over here, the pace and the ability for me to recover. It's like even Suzuki over there, the pace and ability for me to recover into position, it's all about angles. You see, even though Sane was faster and has a turn, it's because I'm moving. Look at my left analysis. I'm moving into where he's going to be. I'm not actually going for the ball. I'm moving into where the ball's going to be. And that is the key with defending. A lot of people don't realize that, but that is honestly the key with defending. It's not anything in particular. It's not anything special. It's just running back and playing safe. I'll see if I've got another better example to show you here. That was more of just a passing lanes example, because that's a very common example. But let's go to one where we're actually defending a counter-attack. Let me show you over here. It's counter-attack. So have a look at this one, because this is a counter-attack. So this is an example, right? So I get the ball with Ronaldo, get the ball with Neymar. Doing a bit of my dribbling, and then God knows how, by the way, that's not a foul. That is absolutely shocking. That's not even a foul. But anyway, the ball gets this. I'll get dispossessed, and ball goes down the wing, and you can see Renato Sanchez. I'm immediately running back, and you can see once the ball goes in between the lines, I'm in trouble. But you see the angle that which I'm running at, I'm always running into the space in front. Do you see that? I'm never occupying the exact zone. So even though Neymar is faster, I know just by running in an angle into the zone, I can always recover. And you see, this is how you can recover very quickly. Even in a situation like where you get done over here, this is why fullbacks are so important. Because once someone makes, for example, a split turn or a fake shot, it's very hard to defend against. But if you got a fullback, it's easier to cover. That's why the pace is always the forefront. That's why it's very, very difficult for EA to patch this. Realistically, you can buff strength, but it will never work. Even on the higher end, fullbacks, and he's right. And even this guy, he's saying, I think I've used fullbacks since FIFA 10, FIFA 11. I remember, because long story short, I couldn't afford Koscielny. Koscielny was like 40k. I think Mickey Richards was like 3k. I played him in centre back, 7 chemistry. What's the issue? And for some reason, someone thinks that playing a card on 7 chemistry is a big issue. I don't know who on earth's telling this information. And I'm going to tell you something, there's a lot of misinformation in this community. People get upset and get riled up when I say something, when it's the utter truth. It's my job to explain to you. It's not my job for you to like me. I don't care whether you like me or hate me. That's not my job. My job is to tell you the truth. And to play a card on 7 chemistry, it makes no difference. I understand some people want a guy on 10. It makes absolutely no difference. Playing him on 7 chemistry will not make the card worse. It will just stop the chemistry boost. But people are misunderstanding the point. If the base stats of the card is good, you don't need the full chemistry boost in the first place. And that is why a fullback, I'll give you an example, Wan-Bissaka, I knew before this card even came out, before he, because I've been using, for those who don't know, I've been using Wan-Bissaka and I'm using Semedo in centre back since the beginning of the game, both because they're medium high work rates and a good agility balance. The balance on Wan-Bissaka is not that good, that's only the downside, but he's still a top tier player. But because he's got natural strength, once this card came out, it was going to be the best card in the game, and that's why his price was so high, and rightly so. His price you saw was like 500k, and it went to 1 million because he was definitely one of the best centre backs in the game at that point. So will it ever get nerfed? It won't do. But the key thing is you just have to understand the weaknesses. It's as for even this guy saying here, you know, people use Neymar in striker. It's the exact same thing. But there's other things, other reasons why fullbacks are more important. I've never really talked about. Maybe I have if you're a frequent viewer. You can press faster. You can dribble faster, you're safer with passing, you've got better agility and balance, you can move the ball faster, you can maneuver quicker, you can do 1-2 triggers, you can recover quicker. It's not just the issue of defending, it's also, it affects your attacking distribution. So that's the reason why all these people are saying, oh yeah, people don't play fullbacks and centre back in real life. Well, where's Kyle Walker playing right now, sometimes for England? So that's just kind of the I suppose you can say the snowflakes of the community that are apparently saying that I'm breaking the game, and people out here doing bridges and dragbacks spams. But yeah, but will they ever nerf it? I don't know. I just think yes, they can buff crossing to make it more effective. In my opinion, crossing takes no skill anyway. That's why I don't cross the ball. You'll never see me cross the ball because I don't cross. I think it's very much RNG unless it's driven cross. But that's pretty much it. Oh. That is very true. I mean, the fact that they call me the sweatiest, most try-hard, even though I don't even try hard, I mean, I think I take that very much as a compliment. But apparently I'm a rat, but this is the problem when you make good content, I suppose. But yeah, I agree. The through ball spam was also a bad issue with that as well. But keep using the fullbacks and centre back. I'll let you know if there's anything that changes next year. Will they ever nerf it? No. But I think very much it's a good meta. There's nothing wrong with it. People that are crying are snowflakes anyway. And think about this, the average person watching this video, no one's got 2-3 million to spend on a centre back like Maldini when the game comes out. If you can play a fullback there and get the job done, why wouldn't you? It's simple. It's not that hard. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.